المستعين واهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة، ويا باب نجاة الأمة، يا ليتنا إن كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. السلام عليك يا علي الأكبر، يا شبيه رسول الله. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I bid you all assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's one of the rulings of this world that there always is a positive counterattacked by a negative. Wherever there's a good, you'll find there's always an evil to parallel it. Wherever there was a Habil, there was a Qabil. Where there was a Ibrahim, there was always a Namrud. Where there was a Musa, there was a Fir'aun. Where there was a Isa, there were the Jews of the time who aimed to crucify Salamullahi alayhi Isa. Wherever you had Rasulullah, you had Abu Sufyan. Wherever you had Ali ibn Abi Talib, you had Muawiya, and I can go through the whole 12. Every Imam had a counterattacked individual who was there ready to destroy him. It's as if Allah balanced the existence of this world by allowing these two elements always to exist. That's why even till the end of time, many come and say Sahib al-Zaman will be killed by a Jewish lady, someone will kill him. Of course, at least in my research, there has not been a narration which proves that there is a lady of Jewish descent who will kill the Imam, yet some have proposed this. In other words, there's always what? There's always good counterattacked by evil. Especially when you come to who? When you come to Karbala, this has reached a peak. If good and evil has been progressing from Adam till now, good becoming stronger and evil also becoming stronger, they both reach their zenith and they reach their mi'raj in Karbala. Because Karbala was what? Karbala was the mi'raj of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. When you say Rasulullah did mi'raj, Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa, Rasulullah had the ascension, Isra wal-mi'raj, what we celebrate in our mosques. The mi'raj and the ascension of Imam al-Hussain was indeed what? It was Karbala. It was when he ascended to Allah. Because mi'raj means what? It's the peak, it's the highest, it's the zenith, it's the climax. It was the closest Rasulullah was ever to Allah. Yes? ما كذب الفؤاد ما رأى فكان قاب قوسين أو أدنى. He was 2 bone arrows or less from the throne of divinity. Likewise, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam reached his mi'raj in Karbala. That good reached a peak in Karbala. Yet likewise, evil reached a peak in Karbala as well. Are you with me? When you come in, you recite Ziyarat Ashura, you say, فَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً أَسَّسَتْ أَسَاسَ الظُّلْمِ وَالْجَوْرِ عَلَيْكُمْ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ. Yes or no? We say, may Allah curse the nation that did what? They built the foundation of evil. Not only did evil exist in Karbala, the foundation and the peak and all other evil, yes, was a result of the evil that took place on the 10th of Muharram. Everything led up to it and everything was a result from it. In other words, Karbala was a meeting point between Haqq in its finest and Batil in its finest. Yet, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam had 2 battles, one of which we ignore many times. Yesterday we finished Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam's last segment of his imamah. Yes? We said that he was the scholar, he was the Gnostic, 2 qualities which were prominent in his imamah. Today we're getting closer to Karbala. Therefore, in an attempt to begin to look at events which led up to Karbala, yes, we look at his battle with Muawiya. Tomorrow we'll look at 2nd battle. Yet Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, many times, his battle with the son of Abu Sufyan has been neglected. Imam had unbelievable what? Had clashes, had, as one would say, fights, and points in which he went face to face with the son of Abu Sufyan. Many examples which history tends to give us. First of all, we begin. Muawiya, if there's one way to explain him, he was a bitter old man towards Ahlul Bayt. Muawiya had very strong hate in his heart for Al-Muhammad. Let me give you about 2 examples. Firstly, it is said that there was a man by the name of Matraf ibn Mughira. Matraf, he liked Muawiya. And whenever Matraf would come back from his house, he would speak to his family about the genius Muawiya was, about the akhlaq of Muawiya, about the manners and etiquette of Muawiya. One day, Matraf comes back and he says, there's nobody more vile and despicable than the son of Abu Sufyan. His son is surprised. He tells him, you've been praising Muawiya your whole life. What do you mean he's the most vile and the most despicable? He tells him he's the most vile for the following reason. I went and I told him, Muawiya, you're in your last moments of your life, yes? And I see that you're getting ready to die. Bani Hashim have nothing which they can use against you, nor do they have the capability to fight you. Therefore, let go of these grudges which you have held for years, and build a truce with them and be on good terms with them. Muawiya, or indeed Matraf, tells his child, when I told him this, he told me, oh Matraf, the one from Bani Team, meaning first caliph, he did everything he could do in his best of abilities, and until this day he's been forgotten. The man from Bani Adi, referring to second caliph, he did good, he did whatever he can, and he's been forgotten. He says, Ya Ibn Abi Kabsha, referring to the Holy Prophet of Islam, he's done good, yes, and nobody can surpass his remembrance. Therefore, the 2 before me did good, they've been forgotten. I'm not going to be forgotten, and indeed, I will destroy the remembrance of Rasulullah. Muawiya was of the type who thought, I'll do anything to be known. You have these kinds of people in the world today. His dignity, his akhlaq, his principles, put all those to aside. If I have to do something to be known and for my name to stay alive, then I'll do it. This is the first example of his hate. Second one is very nice, of Ibn Abbas. It is said after the truce, yes, that Muawiya did with the Imam, he would go to Hajj. Everybody stands up when Muawiya enters, yes. Except who? Except Ibn Abbas. He stays standing. Muawiya tells him, Ibn Abbas, why didn't you stand? You still have hate in your heart from what happened in Siffin. Uthman, my cousin, was also killed unjustly. Now, first of all, in that statement right there, Muawiya has just proved that what he did was wrong. Yes? He's saying, okay, well, I did something wrong. I killed the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib in Siffin. Yeah, also my cousin was unjustly killed as well. There he is. He's proving that he's done injustice from the mouth of the horse itself. Ibn Abbas speaks to him. He tells him, oh Muawiya, who is it that killed, he tells him Abu Bakr. Indeed, he was also killed unjustly, but here's his son Abdullah. Yes, here is his son, and everything is fine. He received authority. Why do you cry? He said, no, that man was killed by who? He was killed by the polytheists. Man was killed. Ibn Abbas would ask him, who was Uthman killed by? Would say Uthman was killed by the Muslims. No, if a man was killed by the Muslims, Ibn Abbas comes and tells him, then this justifies, this goes against your very argument. If he was killed by a Muslim, then this is okay. You've just went against your very argument. He would tell him, no, there is a big difference. He wouldn't know what to reply with. He would tell him, Ibn Abbas, bottom line, stop mentioning Ali and Ahlul Bayt. I'm not going to respond to you with logic because I don't have any. Of course, he didn't say this, but this is what was apparent from his response. Because Ibn Abbas he would throw at him an arrow filled with logic, which left Muawiya confused. Muawiya was like, what am I going to reply? I'm going to cut to the chase. You stop mentioning Ali and Ahlul Bayt. I've sent letters to the provinces, and they're going to forget about Ali ibn Abi Talib and Al-Muhammad. You do likewise. He told him, how about the Quran? Can we read the Quran? Allahu Akbar. This Ibn Abbas was a scholar at its finest. He would tell him, can we read the Quran? He would say, yes, you can read the Quran. He would say, how about the interpretations of the Quran? He said, as for the interpretations, you expect us to know the Quran, yet not to know its meaning? He said, look, you can read any interpretation other than that which has come from Ahlul Bayt. Instantly he would tell him, what's better, belief or action? He told him, action. He told him, question, if we don't understand the meaning of the Quran, how do you expect us to be ones who have good action? Yes? Muawiya would reply, he would tell him, listen, you can follow any interpretation except for Ahlul Bayt's interpretation. Do you hear what I'm saying or no? until Ibn Abbas would throw at him a line which would make Muawiya go crazy. He would tell him, يُرِيدُونَ يُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ وَيَأْبَى اللَّهِ. He would try to him a verse in the Quran telling him they want to close the fire of Allah, and Allah will never allow them to close it. He would tell him, if you want to remember them, publicly don't do it. Secretly, yes, you can remember them. Publicly, don't remember them. He would recite the verse. This is really something that's even happening today. There are how many people do you know? They prostrate down to the construction and recite verses which honor Ali ibn Abi Talib, but they have hate for the man who was born within it. Isn't this the ignorance of the time that we live in today? He prostrates 5 times towards a construction which a man which he holds malice towards was born within that Kaaba. That's why when you see the Kaaba today, there's what? There's beautiful designs on it. Don't be distracted. They're not just trying to beautify the Kaaba. They're trying to get the remembrance of Ali ibn Abi Talib to be forgotten. Yes? The very crack which Amir al-Mu'mineen was born from, the cousin of Rasulullah. Why do you cover it? Hate occupies your existence. In other words, you with me, Muawiya was a man filled with hate. Yet, he was also a smart man. See, sometimes you have people who are hate-filled, but they're idiots, you see? They don't have the wits to be able to carry out their ways. Muawiya wasn't like Yazid, which we'll speak about. Muawiya had hate, yet he had wits to accompany. And that's one of the most dangerous combinations which you can find. Not only is he hate-filled, but he has what? The wits to channel that hate in structured ways. Muawiya came to a conclusion. He said that now that I have the chance to establish my authority, I'm going to do it in 2 ways. Listen to these very important points to see how Muawiya instituted his hate. He instituted his hate. How did he do it? Firstly, Muawiya did it on a theoretical level. Shaheed al-Sadr, rahmatullahi alayhi, gives us fantastic examples of how he established his theoretical ways. What did he say? As for his theoretical ways, the first thing Muawiya would do is that he would want, because Muawiya, he knew he had a disease. Yet he wasn't willing, like many leaders of the world today, he wasn't willing to change himself for the better of the community. What did he say? He said, I'm sick, I'm going to make everybody sick with me. Because if you're sick, you can go and change yourself for the betterment of the people. Yeah, there's another way, which is the arrogant way, which is the stubborn way, which is the way of Muawiya and dictators of today. That I am sick, I refuse to believe I'm sick. Therefore, I'm going to change everybody so that I mix with them. That if there is a pig amongst horses, you tell the stench and the dirtiness of the pig. Yeah, if you make everybody a pig, alhamdulillah, everybody's on the same level and nobody has anything wrong with him. Muawiya was of that opinion. I'm not going to change myself for people, I'll change everyone so that I can justify my actions. What did he do? Number one, on a theoretical level, okay? What was the theoretical level? As for the theoretical level, he was firstly by professional liars to fabricate narrations. You with me? Who did he buy? 4 people in specific. The first person that Muawiya bought was the man who was known as Mr. Pussycat. Yes? Abu Hurairah. Abu Hurairah, why was he called Mr. Pussycat? Because Abu Hurairah had a nice male cat. Yes? He would take care of it, he would brush it, he would eat a grape, he would also give the little pussycat a grape as well. I say alhamdulillah, some people have one who befriended a cat, and we have a man who would battle and wrestle lions. Yes, alhamdulillah. In other words, he would what? He would give Abu Hurairah that duty. Abu Hurairah was of the opinion, do you know what his opinion was? Abu Hurairah would say that I have tomatoes, I want to sell them. Why isn't anybody buying my tomatoes? Therefore, I'm going to say, if you eat from my tomato, Jannah is yours. People started to buy from the tomatoes of Abu Hurairah. Abu Hurairah was a that kind of person. Who else? Amr ibn al-As. Amr ibn al-As. Who else? Mughira ibn Shu'bah and Samar ibn Jundub. 4 people which he gave this responsibility to. Yeah, keep in mind, every one of these had different responsibilities. Yes? Not all of them were of one type who would fabricate certain kinds of narration, because today you open the books, there are different categories. 4 groups of these individuals. Who's the first group? The first group, their duty was to do what? Their duty was to be ones who they put the companions on the same level of Ahlul Bayt. With me? You go and you open the book today, you say, Aliyun ma'al haq wal haq ma'a Ali, very good, Rasulullah said that. You see another hadith comes and says, Fulan ma'al haq wal haq ma'a fulan. Yes? So-and-so is with haq, and haq is with so-and-so. If you can please close it, may Allah bless you. That there are certain individuals, is it closed? No, it's not closed. There are certain people who are ones who would put the companions on the same level of who? Of Ahlul Bayt. So, Hassan, thank you. For certain people, for example, Fulan ma'al haq wal haq ma'a fulan, that's one person. Another person, what does he say? He says, so-and-so and so-and-so are the youths of the paradise, are the masters of the youths of paradise. Or for example, this one is beautiful. Rasulullah would be sitting down, and first Caliph comes in, Rasulullah doesn't cover his thigh. Second one comes in, he doesn't cover the thigh. Third one comes in, he covers his thigh. They tell him, Ya Rasulullah, first two came in, you didn't cover your thigh. Why on the third you covered? He said, how can I not cover my thigh and be ashamed from one who the angels are ashamed from? Alhamdulillah. And that's the same one who on his first day of his Khilafah, we said, he would go up and he wouldn't know what to say. He would say, you know what, I'm not a speaker, so inshallah you can use your minds to conclude what I wanted to say. What do you mean? What are you talking about? From that day they would say, Islam's dark pages have begun. Him, no, he's embarrassed from him, because how can I not be? The angels are embarrassed from him. In other words, that first category, they tried to balance the disproportionate relationship between Ahlul Bayt and their companions. That's the first one. Second ones, what would they do? They would defame Ahlul Bayt. If we can't bring them up, that won't work, let's bring them down. How would they do this? Samra ibn Jundub, Muawiya would give him 4,000 dirhams to go to the people of Syria and tell them, chapter 2, verse 204 and 205 is in reference to Ali ibn Abi Talib. What does 204 and 205 say? It says those who spread mischief, those who far away from Allah. That is in reference to what? To the silent Quran. Yes, the one who would walk and haq would be his shadow. This verse is in reference to him. Of course, you would give him 4,000 dirhams once he would say such a thing. That's the second type. They would defame Ahlul Bayt. Number 3, what kind of people existed? The third people that existed, the group, was what? They would remove the blemishes of Muawiya. Muawiya, his past was black. And everybody knew that's Rasulullah who would say, Ammar taqtuluka al-fi'atu al-baghiya. Ammar, the corrupt group, will kill you. That was a reference to who? To Muawiya. In other words, they knew Muawiya was a bad individual. Therefore, there were many black spots. We need to go and erase them. He gave these erasers to this group to remove those blemishes. You with me? What would they do? Hey, you come today and you hear the hadith, wallah, they're fantastic. Muawiya is my confidant. Oh Allah, teach Muawiya Quran. Oh Allah, oh people, realize that Muawiya, there's no one more forbearing and more forgiving than him. The fourth one is a classic, I have to say. Muawiya goes up, or Rasulullah says, when Muawiya speaks, listen and don't question anything he says. I don't even know if he said that about Ali ibn Abi Talib. When Muawiya goes up, listen to everything he says and don't question him. That third group, they remove the blemishes of who? Of Muawiya, yes? Fourth group, what was their job? To numb the masses. Give me your attention on this vital point. What do you mean numb the masses? You see, if you do something wrong, most likely there's a revolution. Today you see what happened in the Arab Spring. People were disgusted, people were fed up, they rose and overthrew Hussain and Ali Abdul Saleh and so on and so forth. Al-Qaddafi, they would speak out against them until they got fed up, they would revolt. Muawiya said, before this revolution takes place, let me do what? Let me indeed be one who numbs the masses. Today you go to the books. Wallah, it's sad. You open up and it says, if your ruler is corrupt, don't go against him. Listen to what he says. Even there's one man, he would come to Rasulullah, he would tell me, Ya Rasulullah, what do we do if the ruler is corrupt? He would say, Isma' wa ata' wa in daraba dhahraka wa akhadha malaka fa isma' wa ata'. He would come to Rasulullah, he would tell me, Ya Rasulullah, what do I do if the leader is corrupt? He told him, listen and obey. Even if he strikes your back and hits and takes your money, listen and obey. Allahu Akbar. Yani whatever he does now is justified. I am sanctified and what? I am legitimate and you can't touch me because of the words of the Prophet. We didn't say it, the Prophet said. And you have these professional men fabricating such narrations. In other words, he would do it by number 1, the hadith. Number 2, still in the theoretical level, as we mentioned, theoretical level, what would he do? he would put pressure on leaders. Give me your attention on this vital point. What do you mean put pressure on leaders? Muawiya would command, he would go up on the minbar and he would tell the people, I, Muawiya, has been appointed by Rasulullah. The Prophet chose me, and I tell you, curse Abu Turab. He told them, I've been appointed by the Prophet, therefore listen to me. I'm telling you, curse Abu Turab, curse him. You know when he appointed Mughira ibn Shu'bah 7 years as the governor of Kufa, what he would tell him? He didn't tell him deal with the people kindly, as Ali ibn Abi Talib told who, Malik al-Ashtar, when he appointed him. Compare the teachings that Muawiya told Mughira when he appointed him to Kufa, and what Ali told Malik when he appointed him to Egypt. Look at the difference. Ali ibn Abi Talib tells him something which is found today in Western governmental buildings where they learned from him. He would tell him, I give you simply about 4 things which I want you to do. Nothing more, nothing less. What do I want you to do? I want you, number 1, to make it very easy for people to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. Don't give anybody any shortcomings when it comes to the curse of Amir al-Mu'mineen. What else? Always let them remember the blessings of 3rd Caliph. And also, remove the remembrance of Al-Muhammad and distance the people as much as you can from these teachings. 7 years, Mughira would do that. In other words, he would force the people. Muawiya, do you know how he would end his sermon? Sometimes we end our majlis with musibah, we end it by amma yujib. You know how Muawiya would end every one of his sermons? He would begin, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He would finish his sermon, he would end with the following, Oh Allah, curse. And he would mention the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Oh Allah, curse him, he is an apostate, he has left the religion, and let him burn in the hellfire. Allahu Akbar. The man who comes and teaches you what is hell and what is Jannah, oh Allah, curse him. Meaning he instituted, who stopped the cursing of Ali ibn Abi Talib? For nearly 200 years it would go on. Huh? Abdullah ibn Abdul Aziz, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he would be one of the, some say the first companions who would stop the cursing of Amir al-Mu'mineen. In other words, he instituted the curse. He would put pressure on leaders on that second point. Not only would he put pressure on leaders, but he would encourage them to continue to curse the Imam. Now, that was the theoretical level. You come to the practical level. How did he institute his hate? We said the man had hate. How did he institute his hate? Firstly, on the theoretical level. Secondly, on that practical level. What would he do? Firstly, he would kill the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Imam al-Baqir says, indeed, he would remove the limbs and he would even burn people. You know, it is said that when Muawiya told them, kill the Shia wherever you find them. So now today, don't be surprised when you see people who are passing a border, he asks him, what's your name? He says, Haidar. He cuts his head off simply because of his name. They say even there was one man, he told him a fake name, he left and his phone rang with a noha. Because of that ringing, he would kill him. Today, simply because your name is Ali ibn Abi Talib, your head is cut off. Why? Your name is Ali, you're gone. This instituted from many forefathers who put their blood and sweat into making this something possible. Yes? That you'll notice, what is it? He would kill the followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ziyad ibn Abi. Yes? Ziyad ibn Abi was creative. He wasn't only a killer. He would gouge the eyes. Ziyad ibn Abi would cut the limbs. Imam al-Baqir it is said, Samar ibn Jundub, alayhi la'natullah. Samar ibn Jundub, when Muawiya said kill the Shia, he would go, Bishr ibn Arta'a, when Muawiya said kill the people, he would go and he would kill 30,000 people like it was a drink of water. 30,000 Shia he would kill by one command of Muawiya ibn Abi Sufyan. He would kill them. But who would he kill? Would he kill anybody? No. Muawiya was very selective in who he wanted to kill. Who would he go after? Firstly, he would go after the thinkers of the nation. See, today, if you want to get rid of an ideology, you don't kill its followers. No, that's why in Hajj today they say we allow who? We allow the Ammah, the general people to come, the masses. As for the scholars, we don't want them. We're discussing. Why? If you want to change an ideology, you change what? You change its thinkers and you get rid of its thinkers. Hence you'll see, I'll give you about 6 or 7 names, all were slaughtered. Malkamats, even non-Muslim ones who question the status quo are always what? Are always looked after, and sometimes they're even put in jail, yes? You'll notice that what? Some of them would what? They would go after somebody like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Shaheed Mutahhari killed, rahmatullahi alayhi, Imam al-Khomeini killed, somebody such as even Musa Sadr, they say he's in the kidnapped, it's been about 80 or how many years it's been, killed, thinker after thinker killed, because if you want to get rid of an ideology, kill its thinkers. Who would he go after? He would go after, for example, somebody like Rushayd al-Hajari. Yes? Rushayd al-Hajari, do you know what his deal was? He would come, Muawiya would capture him because he was what? He was prolific and always mentioning the fada'il of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Until one day they catched him, they told him, excuse me, you, Rushayd, what's your deal? Did Ali ibn Abi Talib tell you how we're going to kill you? He says, by the way, in fact he did. He said that you're going to take me and you're going to cut my limbs out and you'll even cut my tongue. He said, Wallah, we're going to disprove Ali ibn Abi Talib. Go, you're free. They regret it. They say, bring him back. He comes back. He begins, they cut his left arm. He begins to speak about the evil of Muawiya ibn Sufyan. Cut his right arm. They cut his right arm. He continues to speak about the evils of Muawiya until he said, cut his tongue out. Yes? They cut the tongue of Rushayd while he was speaking about the evils of Muawiya and the greatness of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Rushayd al-Hajari is one person. Who else? Amr ibn Hanaq al-Khuza'i. Who else? Somebody like Saif. Somebody such as, Hajr ibn Adi al-Kindi. Hajr ibn Adi al-Kindi, who until today they couldn't handle his death. And do you think they can handle his death? How do you believe they can handle his life? Muawiya would get rid of him in an instant. Yeah, even until today they would what? They would remove the body of Hajr ibn Adi because his death was an annoyance to them as much as his life. In other words, these 6 or 7 individuals, he wasn't able to handle them. These thinkers. So firstly he would kill the lovers of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Yes? He would burn them, he would gouge their eyes, and then he would go after the thinkers in specific. In other words, Muawiya didn't leave any of his tricks behind because his colors came out. Muawiya, keep in mind, people had a good impression of Muawiya. Muawiya was one who was known to lead the salah. Muawiya was known to be one who encourages the people to remember Allah. Muawiya was one who would walk around and do tasbih. I don't know, one day maybe he fell asleep, he changed, he told them Salat al-Jum'ah is on Wednesday. Muawiya, it's called Salat al-Jum'ah, it's called Friday prayer. He said, let me make it on Wednesday. I think maybe that day he wanted to get creative. But for the most part, Muawiya was who? Muawiya was a man who was very much well-known and good reputation. These couple of years was a time of exposure of Muawiya. People were shocked. Yet he was successful to a certain extent, were it not for one thorn, to implement his ways. Now, Imam al-Hussain, how did he respond? Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Imam al-Hussain salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi responded in 2 ways, just as Muawiya implemented his teachings in 2 ways. Ulama come and tell us there are 2 ways in which he strove to implement his ways. Now, which one? Firstly, in a theoretical way. Because you need to keep in mind that in the time of Muawiya with Imam al-Hasan, what was the disease? The disease in the time of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam was doubt. Yes? We mentioned they were sick of Imam Hassan's lecture, mentioned they were sick of war, they doubted if they can do it, the strength of Muawiya's army overpowered their morale, so on and so forth. That was the issue. What was the issue in the time of Imam al-Hussain? It was no more issue of doubt, it was an issue of no more willpower. People were sick of war, people were sick of battles, yet the reason why they weren't willing to fight with the Imam was because of willpower. Yesterday we finished off with Dua Arafah. Imam in Dua Arafah. SubhanAllah, the series, alhamdulillah, tends to connect to one point to the other. In Arafah, he would gather the Muhajirin and the Ansar. He would tell them, O Muhajirin, O Ansar, we have to stand up. Why? Because Muawiya is seeking to get rid of the heritage of Rasulullah and Ali ibn Abi Talib. Therefore, any one of you knows a hadith, go and tell it to the people. Imam would tell them in Arafah, he would tell them, If you have a hadith from Rasulullah memorized, then you need to be a witness upon it. Go to the people and teach them. It is said, ulama say, one hadith which was memorized in that time was equivalent to 100 hadiths. Because of the scarcity of the moment, or in other words, the importance of the situation, it was so fragile that one hadith you have memorized was equivalent to 100. Yes? Therefore, that was the theoretical level. Practically, what did the Imam do? Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, he had a disease which the people faced, which was lack of willpower. Should I go through the 8 or 10 individuals who tried to dissuade the Imam from going to Karbala? Yes. Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah, or you have, for example, somebody like Ubaidullah ibn al-Hur al-Ju'fi, Farazda. He says, their swords are with you. Women of Bani Hashim would come to the Imam and try to dissuade him from going to Karbala. They tell him, oh Imam, you're in a safe situation here. What are you doing going to Karbala where death might happen to you? Which examples do we have of these kinds of people? Somebody such as, firstly, Muslim ibn Aqil. Muslim ibn Aqil would be praying after he hears Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad is getting ready to get rid of him and his army. He prays, he looks behind, there's no one behind him. It is said that the brothers of his followers would come to them, the sisters, the mothers, the fathers, so on and so forth, they would come to them, telling them, what are you doing going fighting with Muslim ibn Aqil? It's an issue between Muslim ibn Aqil and between Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. You go worry about your classes, go worry about your family, go worry about your school, go worry about your life. And isn't this a disease of today? I promise you, Allah, I've had relatives, I don't know about any of you, but I've had relatives who come to me and tell me, what is this lecturing business? You deal with your school, you deal with your life, you deal with your family, what are you going and presenting? No, this is one of the biggest issues that we, and I'm not trying to promote myself whatsoever, this is the point that needs to be made. If we are more focused on ourselves and on our children and our business than the sake and the destiny of Islam, there are a few wires that need to be checked. If we are, someone will tell me, this is my child, this is my school, this is my future. Yes, of course it's your future, but how about the destiny of the Ummah? Isn't that also your future? Allahu Akbar. Doesn't Rasulullah himself come and say, he who wakes up and doesn't care about the status of the Ummah is what? Isn't a Muslim. If I wake up and I don't know what's happening to the people of Bahrain, or I don't care, or I don't know about the Shia who are being killed on the daily in Parachinar, in Iraq, yes? And I don't care, wallah, I have a test today, inshallah, after I will be dealing with such people, I'll go and read. Well, there's some people for weeks, he doesn't open the news. Movie, he's there. In Salat Jama'ah, he's not in the first row. But in the movie, he's there in the first row, buys the ticket, the popcorn, he's there half an hour before in case there's more popcorn. Allahu Akbar, what if there's no more? He's there. This same individual, you tell him Shia are being killed in Parachinar, Shia are being killed in Bahrain, Shia are being massacred in Pakistan. What do you think? Wallah, may Allah give them tawfiq. What do you mean Allah give them tawfiq? Allah gave you that tongue so you can use it for what? For chewing gum? Let me be honest here, brothers and sisters. Muharram is almost done, yes? What is it, 2 more nights? If Muharram isn't going to allow us to stop being like the followers of Muslim ibn Aqil, then what is Muharram for? People would come to them, they were staunch followers of Muslim ibn Aqil. People would come to them, brothers telling them stop, mothers telling them stop, what do you care? This is between Muslim. In other words, that's the first example, Muslim ibn Aqil. The second example of a dead willpower, which is the most dangerous disease a human being can face. There's nothing more dangerous than weak willpower. If your willpower is dead, then you are a dead human being. Yes or no? You can't do anything in life, whether it be physical or spiritual, you can't do anything. If the willpower is dead, you can't do anything. You look at somebody like Abdullah ibn al-Hur al-Ju'fi. You know what was the deal with this man? This man, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam would come to him. And indeed, Hur ibn Ju'fi, he would tell him, oh Imam, you know that you are safe here in Mecca. Why do you want to go to Karbala? They thought that Imam is leaving Mecca simply because of safety. They didn't know the safety of the Ummah is on the line, not the safety of Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. That fool, you know what he would do? Because Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, he would send a man to him, firstly, trying to shake his conscience. He wanted to wake up his heart. He wanted to tell him, you, Ja'fi, come and fight with us. Well, you know why he didn't want to fight? Because he had some bad moments possibly which as one would say, they made his life difficult, or he has faint memories in battles with Ali ibn Abi Talib, which he was sick of war. Imam said, send him a messenger. They go to him, they tell him, we are giving you the best of honors and the best of endings to your life. What is it? Fight with Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Are you willing to do it? Hadiths come and say that he became furious. He said, I left Kufa because of this kind of a thing possibly to happen in Kufa. Imam al-Hussain going and bursting up a fight in Kufa. That's why I left Kufa. Now you're following me? Please go and tell Abu Abdullah that I apologize. I can't fight. Does Imam stop there? You want to learn about willpower, brothers and sisters? You want to learn about somebody who is consistent, and when something didn't work out, he doesn't stop? Some people, they try to build a masjid. First day it doesn't work out. Oh, inshallah, somebody else will do it. Some people, they try, for example, to start a good youth program. Shaitan, when does he begin? Shaitan, before you want to do it, he wakes up and he begins to work on you. That's when Shaitan comes. Otherwise, when you're sitting down in the masjid, yes, in the masjid of Abdullah al-Hussain, as people are today, they don't want, he doesn't come to these situations when you are a bit slacking off. You say, wallah, maybe tomorrow, wallah, today, Shaitan grabs you and hits you with his arrow. Question, any hunters in the house, when do you hit a deer? You don't hit the deer when it's staring at you, telling you, Salaamu Alaikum, what are you doing here? No, you hit the deer when it turns its head. Yes or no? The minute the deer turns its head, you strike it with an arrow. Yes or no? Shaitan, he comes the minute you slack off. Therefore, Imam wanted to shake the conscience of al-Ju'fi. He sent the first man, he didn't go. He said, I will go. I'm the grandson of Rasulullah, yes, but what can I do? I'll do it anyways. He stands up and he goes to him. He tells him, oh, Ju'fi, you know this is the best of tawfiq to fight with the grandson of Rasulullah. We know that you might have some bad moments with Ali ibn Abi Talib when you fought with him. Yet this is a new time, this is a new era. He would tell him, oh Imam, please, it's too difficult for me. I can do it. One narrator says that nothing broke his heart as much as when he saw children surrounding Imam al-Hussain while he would leave them and go to Ju'fi and ask him to fight, and the Imam would be rejected. Ju'fi makes him an interesting line. He tells him, oh Imam, you know I can't come, but you can take my horse. Imam tells him, what do you mean take your horse? What do you think, we're playing games around here? Take your horse? He told him, I don't want your horse. If you aren't going to give us your blood, we want nothing from you. Is your blood that cheap, oh Ju'fi? He would say, take my horse. Imam alayhi salam tells him, I won't take your horse. I don't need it yet. If you are able to close your ears when you hear the shouts of Allah hal min nasirin yansuruna, then close your ears. Because Rasulullah said, whoever does not follow the call of Hussein when he calls it, then he will be thrown into hellfire on his face by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, therefore, close your ears when you hear these calls. Yes? He would tell him, don't come, if you're not going to come, then close your ears. Imam alayhi salam was trying to shake the dhamir, the conscience of the ummah. If there is something we need to learn from Imam al-Hussain, let us not be Ju'fis of today. Yes or no? Ju'fi was the Ju'fi of yesterday. Yes, towards Hussein. Let us not be Ju'fis towards Sahib al-Zaman. You may say, what do you mean? I'm here today and I'm coming to Majlis, I'm responding to the call of Sahib al-Zaman. No. If you come to Majlis, after Muharram, you're blasting the music, then you are the Ju'fi of today. Let me tell you. If you are somebody who comes to Majlis, yet you're backbiting. There's some people, they sit in gatherings, I don't know, what is it called, the baraza? This is what I hear. They sit and they backbite every single human being. So what comes to me? And they destroy and they slander and they... You just said, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. Allah, Allah. Are you slandering the creation of Allah? In other words, you'll notice that there are certain people, yes, you with me? There are certain people, he says something, yet he does the exact opposite, yes or no? And the world is filled with these kinds of people. You say, Alhamdulillah, that we are at least attend the masjid. Some people are simply Shia by name. In other words, if you are saying, Ya Hussein, yet you are arrogant with your mouth, you are backbiting with your mouth, you are disrespecting everybody around you, then you are the Ju'fi of today. Yes, let us not be of the Ju'fis of today. That this is one example. How else would the Imam fight back? He would fight back because you notice the people were dead. Yes? The sickness within the time of the Imam was that people were dead. Now, how did the Imam fight it? Imam fought it in a number of ways. Firstly, he fought it by the emotional, or in other words, the historical or in other words, firstly he would fight it by, give us the interesting one. When I came across this, it was rather interesting. He would say that he would give slogans which meshed with their weak mentality. You see, the Imam alayhi salam, when he would fight evil, how would he fight the evil? He would fight it in a number of ways which were smart. See, if the people were weak and they were adamant in their weakness, yes, by Imam alayhi salam simply going to the people and telling them that you need to come with me or you're wrong, this isn't going to work. How did Imam do it? Imam would give slogans which meshed with their weak ideologies to win them over. I'll give you an example. Imam would tell the people, we should not be ones who start the war. This meshed with the pacifistic ideology of the people. Because they said, yes, this sounds good. We don't want to start it. We don't want to go in the first place. Yeah, if we're not going to start it, this might encourage us to go. Yes? Now, this worked in the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Because the Imam was the governor of the Ummah. He was the Imam of the nation. With Talha, this worked. With Zubair, this worked. With Aisha, this worked. Yes, don't go against them first because you are the leader of the Ummah. This doesn't apply to Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussain is fighting the dictator of the Ummah. Imam al-Hussain is fighting whoever wants to ruin the religion of Islam, yes or no? Therefore this doesn't apply. Why would you say such a thing, Ya Hussain? No, Imam al-Hussain was being strategic. He wanted to win the people over through slogans of let's not begin the fight first, and indeed it won. He would attract many people, he would win them over, he would recruit them, then they would go to Karbala and fight. This is the first way, through wise slogans and wise tactics. Secondly, it is a historical aspect. Are you with me or no? Last few points before we continue on to the Musibah Najlis. You'll notice Imam would use historical ways. What would he do? It's as if the people forgot that this is the grandson of Rasulullah. Yes or no? It's as if people forgot this was Abu Abdullah who would be kissed, who Rasulullah would prolong his sujood because of him, who this was the boy he would tell them, the most beloved to me are Hassan and Hussain. They are the two Imams. Love, love, love. People forgot this. What would he do? Imam would come out a historical aspect. In what way? He would wear the imamah of Rasulullah. Are you with me? To remind them that I am the grandson of Muhammad. Don't forget. He would take the sword of Rasulullah. Any historical remains which he had of Rasulullah, he would bring it with him to remind them that I am Hussain, son of Fatima, daughter of Muhammad. Because if you remind them of Rasulullah, everybody loves him, and that should spark a chord with them, and it did indeed. Thirdly, Imam alayhi salam strove to wake up the conscience of the Ummah in what way? Through an emotional way. He would take with him his women. Who would take with him his women? He would take with him his 6-month-old child. That if we are ones who have weak willpower, fine, that's understood. Yet we cannot forget that this is indeed the last remaining family of Rasulullah. That is one thing which we can't forget. Therefore, what would he do? He would bring with him Zainab. They would say, this is a female, Allahu Akbar. What are we sitting in our houses when there's females going with the Imam? He takes with him what? A 6-month-old child. If there is a 6th month, what are we doing sitting in our houses? He would take with him a Qasim. Yes, what are we doing? In other words, he would do whatever he had to do to wake up the Ummah. Message of today, brothers and sisters, is let us not be ones who are sleepy in this world. Imam died to wake up the conscience of the Ummah. The world today is doing whatever they can. Yes? You look at the gadgets of today, filling the minds of our children with rubbish. Yes or no? The television shows of today. Have you ever asked yourself, why is it just in Ramadan the series and the television series tend to come on? I don't know in these cultures, but we have in our cultures, Turkish series always come on when it comes time for Ramadan. As Ramadan is a time not to cry because Jessica broke up with Mark. It's a time to cry because you're remembering your sins before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes or no? The tears are there, but the intention needs a bit of shifting. In other words, they distract you when it's time to remember Allah. How many times have you noticed children completely distracted, even by school? Don't be surprised. School can be one of the biggest distractions. I have friends who now are crack dealers. He was there with you in class sitting down normally. Now you don't know what he's doing. In other words, Distractions are there. Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam came and told the ummah, he who sleeps, wakes up, and doesn't care about the affairs of the ummah is not a Muslim, okay? Imam died to wake up the dhamir. He would take his women, he would take his family, he would take his 6-month-old child, all to tell you don't sleep. You know what the hadith says that hurts the heart? Hadith says people are asleep. When they die, they wake up. Allahu Akbar. People are sleeping. When they die, they wake up. Let's not be ones who only wake up when we die. Be awake now. See the evil. Speak out. Use the social networks. Do whatever you can. Let the world know of haqq. And always be one who defames batil. That's why the Imam alayhi salam would take with him even the one who reminded them of Rasulullah. He would take with them even the youth who, when you see him, you remember that indeed Rasulullah, this is the son of the grandson of Rasulullah. You know Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam, why it was so difficult for the Imam to let go of him. Because indeed it was Ali al-Akbar that when you want to remember Rasulullah, you look at him, he would come to me, tell Father, do you give me the permission to fight? Imam would instantly fall down he would fall down, he would forget things, his mind would go blank, his moments would go into a freeze for a few moments, his life. Why? Because it's Ali al-Akbar leaving. How do you expect me to let go of the first one to die from Bani Hashim was Ali al-Akbar? How do you expect me to let go of the one who smells, who looks, who walks and thinks like Rasulullah? He told him, my son Ali, yes, I give you the permission. This is the path of Islam. You are free to go and fight for Allah. Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam goes on to the battlefield. Yet Imam would begin to say, Allahumma shahad على هؤلاء القوم فقد برز إليهم أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا برسولك محمد. What would he say? He would say, oh Allah, bear witness that I am sending to the fields one who is most similar to Rasulullah in his looks, in his logic and in his personality. Oh Allah, protect him, and oh Allah, curse the ones that aim to kill him. Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam is fighting like the warrior that he is, until Hamid ibn Muslim narrates that one man came to him that had the ability to kill him. You know, the mother of Layla, she didn't have the heart to look at her son Ali Akbar fight. She would sit in the tent and she would look at the face of Abu Abdullah to her left. If Hussain is smiling, then she knows Ali is in a good condition. Yes? If Ali is crying, if Hussain is sad, then she knows that Ali Akbar is going to die very soon. Until she sees that Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam's face goes pale. She tells him, Ya Hussain, is everything okay with my son Ali? He wanted to console the heart of Layla. He tells her, yes, go into your tent and raise your hands for dua. Because the dua of the mother is never left unanswered. Mothers hear this line. Layla would go into her tent. She takes off her hijab, she spreads it onto the floor, and then she raises her hand saying, oh, the one who returned Yusuf to Yaqub, return me my son Ali to me. Ali al-Akbar defeats that man who had the ability to kill him, and then he comes back to Imam al-Hussain. Listen to this line, brothers. He would tell him, Ya Hussain, do you have anything for me to drink? He would tell him, no, but place your tongue on my tongue, lest some of the liquid from my tongue will quench your thirst. Ali al-Akbar places his tongue on the tongue of Imam. Ali begins to cry. He tells him, my son, why do you cry? He tells him, Father, your tongue is drier than mine. Ali al-Akbar, Imam tells him, go to the tents, your mother is about to die. He goes to the tents, he hugs his mother, he comes consoles his mother, then he farewells them a second and last time. Ali Akbar then goes to the field. One man strikes the horse of Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar's horse goes into the pool of opposition. They jump on Ali Akbar, they strike Ali Akbar. He shouts, Abba ya Hussein, Abba ya Hussein, Father, oh Hussein, come and aid me. Imam falls, then he stands. Imam falls, then he stands. 3 times he falls, then he stands. He comes to Ali Akbar alayhi salam. Listen to the shrines, lovers of Fatima. He sees that Ali one moment is smiling and another moment he's crying. He tells him, my son Ali, why do you smile and why do you cry? Listen to the lines. He says, oh my father, I smile because to my left I see Rasulullah giving me water, which once I drink it, never will I be thirsty again. Why do you cry? He tells him, I cry because I see to the right side my grandmother Fatima. She's slapping her cheeks, then she looks at me and she says, oh my son Ali, why did they kill you? Bismillah, Bismillah. Matam Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.